Okay, so everyone find yourself in a tall feeling, supported feeling seat. Remember, it really doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you feel like your tail and your legs and your feet can push down into what's underneath you. And then your head can stack on top of your spine and you can reach up through the crown of your head and feel long. You don't have to have a straight spine. Let the spine be curvy and natural and support the weight of the head and let everything from the waist down support you as your base. Good. And then roll your shoulders down a couple times away from your ears. Next time they're down, keep them down. Keep your elbows bent and your hands resting, maybe on your lap. They could be palms up or palms down. You could also opt for like one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest, especially if you're looking for like a way to pretty quickly have that tactile reference to be able to tune into the sensations of your body and be more present minded. That's always a good option. And then pick something ahead of you and slightly down, tuck your chin down and back. Lock your gaze on that spot ahead of you and relax the muscles around your eyes and your jaw and your mouth. And mentally separate yourself from what you were doing so you can come fully now into what you are doing. Good. And start to become aware of everything that you see, whether your eyes are open or shut. You don't have to label everything, just notice generalities like shapes and colors, lights and shadows. Notice where the windows and doors are in relation to your body. And notice where the other people and objects are in relation to your body. Notice all the noises in the space besides my voice. Maybe notice what's outside the room first or farthest away. And then notice what's closer, maybe inside the room. And then notice your own personal bubble of space. See if you can sense not just what's immediately in front of you, but what's to the sides of your body and what's immediately behind you as well. Notice where air touches your skin versus where clothing is covering your skin. Notice the weight of your body in your seat. See if you can become heavier in those places. Sit back into yourself. Work less. And then become aware of your breath without changing it. Notice the air coming in and out of your body and sense where you feel it the most today. Notice if your hands are on your body, how the breath moves your hands in and out or forward and back. Notice if your breath feels kind of smooth or choppy or quick or slow. And then start to elongate your breathing by drawing your inhales lower and deeper into your belly than you normally do. And exhaling a little longer and slower than normal. As you're inhaling, you might imagine your belly is like a balloon. As the breathing diaphragm moves down, it squishes the belly organs and kind of forces them to expand outward. And then as you exhale, watch the balloon deflate, everything coming back to normal as the diaphragm lifts. Do that a few more times, preferably in and out of the nose, only because it slows down and warms the breathing and moistens the air. Okay, so that chemically or I mean mechanically, that's what the nose is designed to do. But if you're too stuffy or if it just doesn't feel that comfortable, breathe in and out of your mouth. Maybe you pretend you're like fogging a mirror or blowing out of a straw. Last one here. And finish the round that you're on, and then return back to your natural passive breath and just notice anything left over so far. Maybe you notice nothing. That's okay. And then remind yourself that everything is optional. If you want to move, great. I'm going to offer some movement here for the rest of class. If you want to just stay with your breath or stay in stillness, you always have that option. So scoot forward towards the edge of your seat. Make sure you have enough meat on the seat that you don't feel like you're going to tip forward, and press both feet into the ground. And really engage with your feet now at this time. So press pretty firmly into your big toes. Notice what that feels like and how the rest of the foot reacts. And then press into all the toes and the pinky toe side of the foot. Press into the heel, both sides of the heel, and see if you can really suction cup your arches to the ground and lift up through the center of the foot. Engage with that pyramid shape or arch-like shape in the bottom of the foot. Squeeze all the muscles onto your bones from your ankles up towards your hips. Squeeze your buttocks. Pull your pelvis organs in and up, belly organs in and up. Squeeze your shoulders gently behind you, and then rest your hands on your lap if you haven't already. Gaze goes forward and down. Remember, chin down and back. Anytime you feel like you're crouching forward, that'll help take the desk out. Always reaching really, really tall through the spine and creating a more broad sense in the front of the chest. Good. Okay. Inhale, get even taller through the crown of your head. Exhale, let your right ear come towards your right shoulder. It doesn't have to be very far. Just notice where you land. If you come up against any pain, you can always adjust a little bit, maybe tilting the nose down or up until it feels like you can stay for another breath. Good. Keep pushing down as you inhale, lift up through the center, and then exhale at your own cadence to the other side. Notice the difference between the two sides and remind yourself we're not trying to force the two sides of the body to be identical. We're just doing the same practices on each side so we can notice better. One more breath. Push down to lift up. Inhale, get really tall. Exhale, look to the right. Stay for a breath. Maybe you reach your left arm away. Pretend that your nose is connected to your fingertips and you're pulling them in different directions. Push down as you inhale, reach up through the center, and then exhale, other side. Push down to lift up. Inhale through the center. This time, exhale, tuck your chin down towards your chest. It might even touch in some bodies. You could be still, or you could kind of scrape your chin to one side and then to the other. Option if this feels like a lot to cradle your head with your hands so you can kind of support the weight of the head with the arms. Try to do the same amount of passes to each side. And then come to stillness in the center. And if you haven't already, place your hands on the back of your skull with your elbows together. And just like we did with the nose and the fingertips, we're imagining pulling in opposite directions. So now pull the elbows forward and the shoulders down and back. Breathe really big into the top of your back. in the backs of your shoulders and under your armpits. Stay tall. Keep pushing into the floor in your seat. Good. Next time you breathe in, come all the way through the center, open your elbows out to the side, and then reach your fingertips towards the ceiling. One at a time, swim your shoulders down and back so you can squeeze them more down your spine. It's okay if your elbows come down in space. And imagine like if I was going to look at your body from the side, I draw a line through your spine, through the middle. See if you can bring your elbows in front of the line, but your thumbs back behind the line. And if that's uncomfortable, especially if it's pinching or you have an injury, you can bring both arms forward in space and do that same kind of motion. And you can experiment a little bit, see where it feels right for you. Good. Next time you inhale, really squeeze the shoulders, lift the heart up. Try not to collapse in the back. Let your eyeballs and your eyebrows look up towards the sky. Maybe your nose follows. Stay long in the back of your neck. Keep lifting the heart up and back, up and back, up and back. Good. And then inhale all the way back to the center. Bring your hands to your knees and push into your hands. Really pull your belly button in toward your spine. Round your shoulders. Let your head get heavy. Look at your lap and stay. If you're fine here, you can stay, or you could exaggerate more by pushing your hands away from you out in front, like you're pressing them into a wall or a big box that you're trying to push. Head is heavy, belly in, push into the feet, breathe. Good. Inhale back to the center. Really tall spine. Stack your head right on top. Shoulders are stacked on your hips. And let your hands come out of your shoulder girdles so they're kind of reaching out. If you want to work really hard today, you could squeeze your fingertips together like Barbie hands. You could lock the elbows super long, and you could reach past the fingertips like you're trying to connect to the floor. If you want to be more soft, soften everything in the joints, especially. So bend the elbows, bend the wrists, bend the fingertips. Let everything be gooey or watery, or that's up to you. Next time you breathe in, from the waist up, lift everything up. The arms could come out to the side or overhead. If your arms come overhead, lift the shoulder girdle up away from your hips like you're trying to touch your earlobes. And then exhale, let everything come all the way back down. So dynamic breathing, just follow your breath here. So inhale, reach around and up. Your eyes might follow. Your hands might touch at the top. You could keep them separated. And then as you exhale, everything comes down. Maybe you look down as well. Follow your own pace and try not to get to the top until your lungs are super duper full. Try not to get to the bottom until your lungs are super duper empty. And just notice the tendency of your body to either be faster or slower than your breathing. And then adjust accordingly. So they're kind of on the same rhythm. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to figure this all out today. Two more. Keep pressing into the feet. Keep pulling the pelvis in and up, belly in and up. Face is soft. Good. This time, inhale, lift only your right arm up. And see if you can place your left hand either on your lap on the same side or on the opposite side so you can lean a little bit side to side. And notice where your heart is pointing. See what happens when you point it more forward or up towards the sky. You could look up as well. And then what happens when you stay? Hips are glued down, but you reach at a diagonal towards the floor a little bit, over towards that corner. And maybe you do that one more time. Push into your feet in your seat. Inhale, let your belly help you come all the way back up. And then exhale, let both arms come down. Notice what's left over. You might get the whooshing and tingling and temperature changes. That's all normal. Other side. Inhale, left arm or opposite arm reaches out or up. If it's lifting up, really imagine reaching the shoulder up, up, up away from the hips. And then let your hand on the opposite side help you either on the same side or opposite knee so you can lean to any degree. I like to really reach across and like grab my pants or the knee so I can, it's almost like I can lean into that arm and it kind of holds me in place. Lets me be a little more soft. Try reaching at a diagonal and heart forward or up here. Notice what happens. So we're leaning over to the side and you're introducing a little bit of twisting. So just notice what that's like for you. And then before you come up, make sure you're pushing into your feet and your seat. Belly organs are in and up. Inhale all the way back to the top. Exhale, hands come down. Rest in neutral. Notice what's left over for a beat. Good. Inhale, arms out to a big T shape. Really reach. You might even push through the heels of the hands, pull your fingertips back. And then flex them the opposite way. Push through the tops of the hands, pull the fingers towards the front. Good. Make really, really strong fists. Squeeze all your fingertips together. And then open your hands and spread your fingers out as wide as you possibly can. Jazz hands. That's where you flicker and look fancy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good. Good. Inhale, reach in neutral. And then exhale, twist to one side and let your arms come down to support you, but not to pull you further. Even though you're twisting, inhale for length through the crown of your head. Chin down and back, nose in line with your heart to start. And then if you wish, you could stay and look over your back shoulder, only if your neck has nothing to say or gripe about. Nice and slow. Inhale, unwind, come back to neutral. Exhale, take a break. Notice what's left over. And then when you're ready, do the other side. Inhale, arms open. Exhale, twist. Look for length. Chin down and back, nose in line with your heart to start, and then you can look over the back shoulder if it's interesting. Push into your feet, belly organs in and up. Inhale all the way back to the center. And exhale, fold forward. So what I like to do, especially in work pants, is karate chop my belly so I can push where I want to fold. And then I come forward. Ooh, maybe undo your belt, Alex. Jeez. Why are these so tight? Why do we do this to ourselves? If it's still uncomfortable or it's just not working for you for one reason or the other, you always have the option of taking the feet wider than they were before, letting the knees come more open. And then you have way more room between the legs as you fold. Always a good idea if you have migraines or headaches, or if you're glaucoma, if you're on blood pressure medication, any of that stuff, you might keep the elbows on your knees and cradle your head with your hands so it doesn't go below your heart. But if none of that applies or it feels safe or interesting, you could always dangle the arms, dangle the head. Shake the head, yes. Shake the head, no. As you compress the front side of your body here, breathe really, really big into the back side of your body. Remind yourself your lungs are physiologically bigger in the back. See if you can fill them up as much as possible. Maybe you breathe in so big that it like lifts you up off your legs more. And then as you exhale, you feel like you can sink further. Good. Stay for 2 more rounds wherever you landed. Slowly, slowly unfurl. Let your shoulders and head come up last. Stack yourself back into a super tall feeling spine, looking straight ahead. Maybe when you get to the top, you roll your shoulders. Head comes up last, looking forward. Soften your face again, unclench your jaw. Keep breathing. Good. And then scoot back into your seat so you feel fully supported in the legs and the back of your body. Rest your hands either on the arms of your chair or on your thighs, or one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest is always a good option. Fix your gaze ahead of yourself at something that's not moving, and then soften the muscles around your eyebrows and your jaw and your mouth again. You might even swallow now. Let your tongue come to the bottom of your mouth, coat your tongue in saliva. Take a seat back into yourself again and notice any shesha. Notice anything left over from your practice. Good. And I'll offer a short guided body scan meditation as usual, but this is optional just like everything else. If you have like a prayer or an affirmation or something that you're working with, now at the end of the class, as your body rests and reintegrates and comes back to neutral, now is a really good time to incorporate any of those mental aspects that help you the most. But if you want to follow along with me, bring all of your awareness and attention just to the tips of your toes. Notice what you find or do not find there without any judgment. Notice the bottoms of your feet. Notice the tops of your feet. Notice your ankles. Notice your lower legs. Notice your knees. Notice your upper legs. Notice your hips. Notice your buttocks. Notice your pelvis. Notice your belly. Notice your low back. Notice sides of your waist. Notice your upper back. Notice your chest. Notice your armpits. Notice your shoulders. Notice your upper arms. Notice your elbows. Notice your lower arms. Notice your wrists, backs of your hands, palms of your hands. Notice all of your fingertips. Notice the spaces between your fingertips. Notice the front of your throat. Notice back of your neck, back of your head, top of your head. Notice your forehead. Notice your temples. Notice your ears. Notice your cheeks. Notice your jaw. Notice your chin. Notice your lips. Notice your teeth. Notice your tongue. Notice your nose. Notice your right eyelid. Notice your left eyelid. Notice your right eyebrow. Notice your left eyebrow. Notice the space between your eyebrows. Allow distractions to be what they are, where they are. And bring your attention back over and over. Just notice. Now that you've become aware of your body one piece at a time, bring awareness to your whole system together as one big piece. Whole body together. Whole body together. Good. Notice where your mind has been. And bring your attention back to the parts of your body that are touching down on something underneath you. Notice your breath without changing it. And gently start to wiggle your fingers and your toes to let your body wake back up. That could turn into something bigger. You might roll your wrists and your ankles or stretch or move. Anything that feels natural or necessary is a good idea. And that could be more stillness. And to end class, as usual, I'll invite you to bring your hands together in a prayer-like position, Anjali Mudra, with the thumbs pressing into the heart. You can stack your hands instead, whatever feels good to you. And look down or bow down towards your heart in your hands. This motion is in gratitude of yourself. So as best you can, give yourself a sincere thank you just for showing up. We all know that's 90% of the work, and everything else is just practice. And remember, you have a body, but you're not just your body. You have a mind, but you're not just your thoughts. And you have emotions, but you're not just your feelings. As you're ready, your hands can come down. Let your eyes flutter open and up. And class is over. Thank you. If you want to ask me any questions or have concerns, we can talk about that after I stop the recording here.